In the Kaicho News of Tuesday, the 5th of August 2014, there is an article captioned Agricultural Ministry eyeing higher price markets for rice as production keeps climbing. Now this looks innocent enough, but is it an attempt to deceive the rice farmers that there can be a solution for them to keep producing at uncompetitively high prices? The PPP just doesn't seem to care. It's very strange. They are incompetent to give good national production results, especially in agriculture. So they deceive farmers that all is well to keep them producing and let the cards fall where they may. The Skeldon sugarcane farmers are a good example. Mostly they are all bankrupt. And now IVLOC is giving land for farmers to cultivate cane where Gaisuco cannot do it themselves due to numerous constraints. The PPP continue to deceive their own supporters into taking risks simply to show more production, and if the farmers go bankrupt, it's okay. And that's why I have to repeat, I just don't understand it. And the farmers keep falling for these shenanigans over and over again, blindly following a set of totally immoral people. The Agriculture Minister Ramsamy misleads us by telling us of the huge challenge the PPP have to overcome to achieve the overwhelming success of the rice industry. But the real situation may be completely different. The PetroCaribe deal was initiated by Hugo Chavez to buy support from his Caribbean neighbors. To buy this support, he began selling the 14 countries which signed the deal, including Guyana, gasoline and oil from Venezuela under preferential conditions, which would make them indebted to him and therefore support him whatever he may decide to do. The Guyana Chronicle of 7th of August 2014 tells us that Donald Ramotar, as head of the government of Guyana, officially commissioned the Hugo Chavez Center for Rehabilitation and Reintegration, a facility for homeless persons in West Berbice, which has received extensive funding from the government of Venezuela through PetroCaribe. Chavez nationalized foreign and local assets, including the US's. He all but destroyed the economy of Venezuela before he died. He violated human rights of countless numbers of his citizens, and his plan worked, since we have said nothing in criticism of him. In fact, we are now honoring him by building this homeless shelter. Venezuela is an OPEC nation, and they cannot sell the fuel at less than the internationally agreed prices of OPEC. So Chavez put in place a system where he can bribe his neighbors to support him by giving them the oil and the OPEC at the OPEC prices, but with massive concessions. Now, we don't know exactly what the concession for Guyana is, but they can be substantial. I extracted the following from the Jamaica Gleaner newspaper, also a signatory of PetroCaribe. The PetroCaribe program, it tells us, an agreement between Venezuela and some Caribbean territories to purchase oil on preferential terms, allows the government of Jamaica to convert 40% of fuel payments annually to a loan repayable over 25 years at 1% interest. The funds flowing from the arrangement are managed by the PetroCaribe Development Fund in Jamaica, which earns from loans packaged for the public sector and from investment returns. And the fund is huge, amounting to date of a loan portfolio of Jamaica $206 billion. There is no such arrangement we know of in Guyana, but we know that the government of Guyana brings in the fuel and the oil from Venezuela through the GEA and sells it to the local gas stations and GPL at full price. But since they are only required to pay 60% if the government of Guyana is taking advantage of this preferential arrangement, and are only paying 60% of the total cost of the fuel while selling to the local gas stations at full price, where does the other 40% collected from the gas stations and private users go? If what is visible in this matter is true, this has the capacity to make the Lotto Fund a joke. In comparison, our annual fuel bill is $350 million. 40% would represent $140 million US, or the Guyana $28 billion per year. Now recently in the newspaper we saw that the PetroCaribe money was being used, in fact, to build the Hopeless Canal. So it's going to places where the citizens and the members of the opposition are not aware. The government simply is doing it through NISL possibly, and are making sweetheart deals with the Venezuelans, and the country doesn't know what's happening. In addition, the farmers are making the following allegations. The Venezuelans are paying US $520 per ton, or Guyana $105,000 per metric ton, and shipping costs from Guyana to Venezuela is set at $30 or $6,060 Guyana. Transportation and loading costs in Guyana normally $7,000. Drying and cleaning costs, a decent margin for the miller included, is G $11,000, leaving a net paddy price of $80,915. The farmers say that all of these charges, including the shipping, is too high. But even then, the price per bag for paddy should be G $5,150. But the farmers are being paid, if they're lucky, $3,150 per bag, leaving a profit of G $2,000 per bag for the government. Now there is Dr. Durga, a former CEO of Alisi Group. He estimates that if we have exported to Venezuela 750 metric tons so far since the deal started, the profit the government made from these transactions is equivalent to 23.625 billion Guyana dollars. But it does not end there. The shipping cost, which should be $30 per metric ton, is actually boosted to US $68 per metric ton, which is equal to the price for shipping to Europe, which is approximately 10 times the distance. This is done through middlemen, all known to be PPP acolytes. From this shipping, it is estimated that the profit to the shipping is 38 US per metric ton. So if we did export so far 750,000 metric tons, the skim off from the shipping of the rice paddy to Venezuela could be as high as 30 million US of 5.7 or 5.7 billion Guyana dollars. Then there is the requirement to take US $10 per metric ton for a social fund. So far, it is estimated that the total social fund deductions by government is over 2.175 billion Guyana dollars. Now, the farmers don't know what this fund is and what social enterprise it is intended to fund. Frankly, neither do I. There is much more, ladies and gentlemen, and I will stop here. Analyzing all this thieving is giving me a headache.